All right, it's 6 o'clock. We're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order and rise for the invocation of the pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together. Please bless our time here with purpose and clarity. May our discussions be productive and our decisions reflect our shared values. Help us to listen with understanding and to work in harmony for the greater good. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now open up for citizens' comments. Please keep in mind you have 3 minutes. If anybody has
Doesn't matter what we
anything.
come in on.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't matter what we come in.
Nope.
How can we get a property cleaned up in Lone Star? I mean, these people live, it looks like a jungle right by my mama's other house, you know.
Come up and
Maybe put it up for sale, and there's no way we can sell that house for that mess next door to it. And the people live in the house.
I know they're out actively working on code enforcement. We had an officer out for 8 hours on Saturday actively working on enforcement. If that's a specific address you want to come up and give to the office so they can focus on that this weekend when he's back on, then we will get that addressed.
I was out yesterday for an hour or two, so
Yeah, just like he was out yesterday.
we're working on it. Just come get with me.
Oh,
Come get with me in the office.
where you get over here?
Right to the city hall, yes, sir.
All right, appreciate it.
Anybody else?
I have a public service announcement. On Saturday from noon to 3, the fire department and the police department and public works are involved with it's just sort of a meet and greet. Talk to the folks about what the fire department does, what the police department does, what changes they can foresee. It'll be kind of, it's for anybody, but it's kind of kid oriented. We're buying, renting a couple of bouncy houses for the kids, and we're giving away free hot dogs, and somebody donated 100 cupcakes, and I think we'll have a real nice time. And it'll be from noon to 3, City Park, Saturday. Hope to see you all there.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, we will now move on to the non-action items. For one, we have somebody here from the ARPA fund status report from Grant Works.
This one is just a report from you, and then
Yep.
we do have an agenda item
Yeah,
in there
right
that
on.
they can take action on. So.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Jessica Hissom. I'm from GrantWorks. I am the ARPA project manager. I work really closely with Kyle, and just wanted to come to kind of emphasize an upcoming deadline and call to action to move forward and make some decisions on the projects, because we are at high risk of losing the money if we do not do it. Overall, Lone Star's doing really well in terms of projects, potential projects. Kyle's been doing a great job at bringing projects. ARPA can fund a lot of things, a ton of government services, things that governments typically provide. Right now, we have obligated, which means have a formal contract or a purchase order for about 49% of the funds. Your total allocation is around $367,000, and we have obligated $178,000. Now that leaves us with $189,000 left that has potentially been budgeted, but has not been approved for a project, and therefore, of course, has not been wrapped up in a formal purchase order. The big deadline is at the end of the year, so December 31st, 2024. If these funds are not wrapped up in a purchase order or a contract, they're at high risk of being returned to the Treasury, which means that $189,000 goes bye-bye. So I am here to really encourage the council to make decisions on some projects. I know we have a couple resolutions that are waiting out and get this money approved and tied up, so Kyle and I can go ahead and get forward and get those things into contract. I know there's a variety of different projects that we're looking at, including the resolution a little bit later. But yeah, just wanted to come and really emphasize that deadline. It is a non-negotiable deadline, and I know we all want to use that money. So if we can get those things approved as soon as possible, that would be wonderful. Any questions, just let me know, but I will be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to reports. 51 through 58. Our ticket count's up, contacts are up with our new law enforcement in place.
I also see that now that Lone Star becoming an affiliate member of the North Texas Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Bravo.
They're all here.
No,
Huh?
no.
Which ones?
3, 4, 5, and 6 are not there. I haven't got 3, 4, I'm gonna speak for Jerry. Jerry had a computer glitch yesterday. He had a very detailed report made out for y'all and he lost every bit of it. That's not his fault. We'll catch up next month and get it in there, so. And go ahead. No, I was gonna say the EDC report, I actually had the minutes at the last minute, that's not getting them minutes in here is my fault, not the EDC's. Randy, they did get them to me, I'll have both months next month.
We have 51, 52, 575. Yes, sir.
I've been hearing good things about policing. I mean, and they're giving citations for speeding, and I'm not hearing any pushback either. I'm sure there will be some, but I think making our streets safer is gonna be a great thing.
If you can give them a paper fine.
Well, only so much we can do.
I know they're real out there.
We heard the fight, this guy's second on the road.
So I make a motion that we accept the report in hand, 51, 52, 57, and 58.
A motion from Cindy,
I second that.
second from Dawn, all in favor? 4-0. Consent items, 6-1 through 6-4. Oh, that's my watch.
Make a motion to accept minutes for July 18, August 1st, August 8, August 15 as presented.
Second.
Motion from Keith, second from Cindy, all in favor? Oh,
Aye.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll now move on to action items. 7-1, review discussion possible action on a resolution 319 to use ARPA funds for the wastewater treatment plant repairs.
This is just, get back to the ARPA money, but it's just the approval to where we can start the resolution, and we've contacted a couple of businesses to, start the process of getting the aerators repaired that Jerry found, last month, that was the bearings and everything have went out. So it's just
We're running off of one right now.
you know,
And its bearings are bad, but it's the least of the three, so that's one. I do believe we put two actually is in running in sequence with each other, because there again we got to have the proper oxygenation in the water and all that good stuff. So there is two running, but they're running on bad bearings. Yeah, I mean, which we greased the bearings. I know it probably didn't do much good because the bearings are already bad, but we did get new greasers put in them and trying to hold them over till we can get them fixed.
this is the only resolution that's on here as far as the resolution for tonight. But as Ms. Jessica talked, this is something going forward towards that 189. It's just going to be a dent in the bucket when it comes to getting everything else. But as far as the rest of it, y'all send me some ideas for next month where we can really roll with getting the resolutions done.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and say, If we don't have a firm plan by the end of next month of projects approved and getting really close to procuring, because like, we don't just approve them, we have to formally or informally procure them, that takes time. If we don't have that done by the end of October, we're really gonna have to seriously pivot into a completely different strategy. That might be more complicated, just to make sure we don't lose the funds. So I would highly, highly suggest by next month, getting all 189 approved so we can get going, just for the sake of the city.
I don't think we have much choice on the aerators and the wastewater.
We want water.
That would be
There's, and I left that open with wastewater because we need the quotes on the, what the TCEQ inspection lady came out and told us we need to do on the, remind me, Jerry, the
Walkways.
The walkways.
Glass,
Around the
stained glass.
clarifiers.
Doors.
Back gate, a door for the clarator room, chlorine room.
There's a lot of small things that will fit underneath this
great.
this one resolution that we're on.
But you're gonna work on getting us quotes for all of the items so we can come back and.
Yes, ma'am.
The biggest,
I'm waiting on
the
them
biggest
now.
part's gonna be the
The
aerators,
aerator, yeah.
yeah. As far as the plan out
Oh,
there.
yeah. Yeah, we're waiting on, I
I'll
have
make a motion.
contacted a couple and they're waiting. We're waiting.
I make a motion that we do use the ARPA funds for the wastewater treatment plant repairs, not just the aerator, but the ones that come before us in the near future.
Have a motion from Cindy.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion carries. Moving on to 7.2. Discuss and consider the city of Lone Star to give authorization to use requests or proposals for administrative services as a disaster recovery management service provider to complete application and project implementation and request for qualifications for engineering services for the FEMA, public assistance, hazard mitigation assistance, funding administered by the FEMA agency, Texas Division of Emergency Management, and/or Texas Water Development Board. That's a lot.
John?
Yes, sir. Well, you, Mayor, Council, thanks for having me. Grantworks didn't mean to steal the show today, but we do that sometimes. Kyle and I talk frequently about grant opportunities for the city for different things. There's a pretty decent opportunity right now. Sorry for the long language there. It's kind of complicated. What we want to do is we want to take advantage of TDM and FEMA money that comes around in grant form, and they're called DRs, disaster recovery. We don't get very many of them here, but when we have a lot of rain, sometimes we do. And over the last couple of years, we've seen a few of these DRs come out that are rain related. We will sometimes get them for fires, sometimes get them for tornadoes, but very rarely does that happen. So we gotta take advantage of the rain events when they happen. DR is very good money for things like early warning siren systems, generators, sometimes small equipment for drainage improvements, anything that will help mitigate the disaster further down the road. Kyle and I have talked about a couple of those needs that you have. I can't remember if it was generators or early warning or both. And DR would be a really great way for you guys to fund that. Usually funds about 75% of it, so the city would have to match 25. But you can't find that kind of a grant for equipment anywhere anyway. You can use ARPA money for some of this stuff. You can also use the ARPA money for the match. So keep that in mind. It'll help you burn up a little bit of that if we can get all that done next year. The opportunity we have in front of us tonight is for y'all to authorize RFPs. That's just to ask for proposals for somebody to manage those programs for you for the next 5 years. So we don't have to do this all the time, because the DRs come out and they're really fast, and they give us a short window for application. So what cities find is they're just doing paperwork all the time to keep up with these DR grants that are coming out. Kyle's not interested in doing that. He wants to do it one time for 5 years and get it out of the way. So we'd like you to authorize that tonight, and I'll get the RFP process started. We have some people that'll help Kyle get it done and move forward with it.
What kind of dollar amounts are these usually when they come through? Is it all over the board?
They vary. I've seen them to $5 million for big drainage projects. Sometimes $1 million is a number that's quite common on the
Not
smaller
for a
ones.
town our size, I would
Yeah,
think.
well, it just depends on what your project is. If you had to do a major drainage deal somewhere because you were flooding all the time, that would eat up quite a bit of money. But if it's a couple of generators or an early warning siren system's about 200,000, sometimes. So it just depends on. But you'll ask for whatever the project is. We'll bring them to you when the max fits your project.
And I guess GrantWorks gets an administrative fee, and that's where
Absolutely.
you fall in.
We do. We get an administrative fee that's pretty low. We're capped on these. It's federal dollars, and we're usually below the cap. But all that's transparent up front.
And so who would be over you said that, instead of doing all this for every time, do it for the next 5 years, is that something that y'all will be overlooking? Is it something that Kyle will?
What we're gonna do tonight is authorize Kyle to issue what's called an RFP. That's a request for proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So my company and some other companies like GrantWorks
Okay.
will submit proposals to the city. Y'all seen those before when you bought probably any equipment.
Right.
You'll look at the proposals, you'll score them, and you'll hire someone, you'll award. That administrator then will take those for the next 5 years. They all do things different. The way we do them is when a DR comes out, he's the first person I call. Hey, I've got a DR, your county or your area, region was declared. Here's what's eligible. Do you need any of that? If the answer is yes, then we do an application. And we don't wait for that whole process to be played out again. It takes a month to get it done. Well, sometimes the application period might be 60 days. You guys have to have at least one meeting and then pass one resolution. So you know how that goes. We got to get it done. Doing this will allow us to eliminate that first 30-day process. So we have a little more time to get things done. If he's on vacation, if I'm on vacation, whatever, we don't miss the opportunity.
And we're not actively having to look for it when it comes up in our
Yeah,
area.
exactly. We'll bring them to you
Right.
anyway.
And this is not,
That's
this is
our
not saying
goal.
we're going after a couple of $1 million. This is saying we can start the process to get the RFPs to look for the administration side of it, so that way we can move forward with whatever that money comes along when it does.
And there's a couple of active DRs right now that, we want to try to jump on top of. Maybe get some generators, get an early warning siren system that, will cover the whole city, and I think we can do that.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion that we give the authorization. Approve the authorization, not sure if I'm wording this right. To issue requests for the proposals for administrative services.
We have a motion from Cindy to approve the RFP process.
I second it.
Second from Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 7.3, review discussion and possible action on the approval of Techstar Investment Pool as an authorized investment.
This was tabled. This is, so what I'm presenting to y'all tonight is if we're interested after we talk to the gentleman in the budget meeting, let's move forward with getting the contract signed, get that part done, and then in October, we can come back to the table with how much we want to move to that money market. I'll have more financial details and what's sitting in CDs and savings accounts in October.
So there's no costs on administering this, correct? So if we wanted to approve it, we may or may not ever put money in it. I would think we would, but
That's how I understand it, correct.
It's just a management fee of your invested balance of 0.06%. But there's virtually no loss, the way it was
right,
presented.
if we don't put any funds in there, there wouldn't be a management
Right.
fee unless there's some minimum in there.
Yep.
Well, I think there is a risk, but I think it's minimal that we would gain less than the CDs currently are. So, I make a motion that we approve utilizing Techstar investment pool for the city of Lone Star.
I second that.
Motion from Keith, a second from Don, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion passes. Moving on to 7.4, review discussion and possible action on approving an application for participation in Texas Short-Term Asset Reserve program, which is
It's the same
same.
thing. When he sent this to me, he sent 2 agenda items. It's all the same. It's all part of the packet that's in there for textile.
I'll make a motion that we accept this approved application for participation in the text store.
Motion from Cindy,
I'll second
second from Dawn, all in favor?
it. Aye.
4-0. I think this is some kind of record, so, you know. Okay, 7-5, I know, I just jinxed it.
Not anymore, it's not.
Yeah, 7-5, review discussion possible action on approval of appointing Nikki Slater to the Economic Development Corporation. Go ahead, Randy.
Thank you, Mayor. I met Ms. Slater. She attended a meeting that we had at the park where we looked at potential projects. And she's got some very good talent that we can use. She's very articulate, very intelligent. She has a vision for where the city needs to go. She would be a great addition to EDC, and I'm asking you to please vote her on board.
She live here in Lone Star?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I know her.
Nikki Slater would be an excellent choice.
Yeah.
She is very skilled and she's on it. She'd be very good at it. And she's already been very active in this community already, even though we are some newcomers.
Yeah.
She's been very active. Totally support Nikki Slater.
Yeah, she's great.
We need all the help we can get at this point. I think.
So I make a motion that we accept Nikki Slater into the EDC.
I second.
Motion from Cindy, second from Carrie, all in favor?
Aye.
3-1, motion carried. Moving on to 7-6.
You jinxed it.
Yep. Review discussion and possible action on who has access to the EDC QuickBooks account.
Right now, the EDC QuickBooks account is tied in over with the cities. We have 3 accounts: water, sewer fund, general fund, EDC. Randy, would you like to speak any more on this, or?
Yes, this question came up as a result of when Tina left, we had to transition to Kyle. We lost access to the EDC QuickBooks account. And that's why we had requested access to it. But Kyle and I have had some meetings over this, and he's getting caught up on the data into it. So what we're going to do, instead of asking access to it, we'll create a spreadsheet, cross-reference our data with his to make sure that everything is articulate and accurate. So,
Checks and balances, I like it.
I agree.
So then this is not needed anymore?
no.
Okay.
So we'll just scratch that one.
I can know action.
Thank you, Randy. All right. 7-7, review discussion and possible action on purchasing a mower for Public Works.
We need a mower, whether it's a flail mower, whether it's a bush hog, whether it's whatever. I'm requesting to allow Jerry to spend up to $4,000 to find the mower that he would like for Public Works to purchase, whether it be new, used, like new, and let us go find one and we can just get it. And I'll put a lot on his plate before next week and just pay for it out of this budget. Let's get him something he needs on this new tractor to get some things done.
I think that's what we had talked about last week, it just wasn't on there to, approve it, so. As long as there's a couple people looking at it.
Flow mowers are becoming more popular, and in my opinion, for good reason. The way they operate, they're way safer in the ways you run the equipment. And I believe the 4,000 this is an example that I gave that I've done a lot of research on, and it's the one I would buy if I could afford to buy one for myself.
I left a little in there off of this quote just for shipping.
I was gonna say, we might need to add a little bit, but you've already taken care of that.
I did, and I don't know how much shipping is gonna cost, so if we need to bump it up to 4,500 just to be on the safe side, but this particular unit's $32.95 plus shipping, and it does have to come from out of state, so I don't know what it's gonna cost us to get it here.
This one has really good reviews, but there are other ones available. I love Kubota stuff, but Kubota's way overpriced on their accessories, so I probably wouldn't do a Kubota one for that reason.
You have any thoughts, Jerry?
Ma'am?
You have any thoughts?
No, ma'am. Just that it's much needed.
I agree.
And the flail mower, I did some research on the bush hogs and the flails. You know, bush hogs has been a thing of forever. And the flail's just a little, I'd say a step above, you know. So flail mower would probably be the better bet to go at. Might find a newer machine also with the, then
Well,
you find a bush hog.
$32.95 is a new,
Yeah,
brand
that's
new
what I'm saying,
one.
brand new. We wouldn't have to worry about looking around for a used bush hog.
And these flail mowers do a much neater job. And they're, because they spin this way and just throw everything back on the ground, they're not spinning this way and shooting it out the
And
side of
slinging.
people's car windows and things like that. They're safer.
Okay.
So and they're easier for the tractor to run because they don't have a huge blade that's super heavy, which the whole purpose in the stump jumper and the big blade is so that you can cut through small trees and things, but we don't need that. So I make a motion that we approve up to 4,500 for, I don't want to limit, but I think a flail mower is the right thing. So for a flail mower, we can come back and change that if we need. Are you okay with flail mower?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it's 4,500, the extras to include shipping if needed. For a flail mower.
Got a motion from Keith. Second from Cindy, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion carries. Moving on to 7-8, review discussion possible action on a sewer line installation at 406 Timber Lane.
I printed y'all a better map. I apologize, the one I made copies of you can't see. Kind of give an idea in the, where north and south Timber Lane coming across the top of the map, you got property number 10449 in two spots. Mr. Jeff here is the property owner. Plan on building 2 houses, one on each piece of property. And over the years, the sewer never was developed there. Getting him water wasn't an issue, but getting sewer to our lift station is an issue. Had some concerns on the city's responsibility, because once we went down there and looked a couple of times and realized last week or week before last that it's just going to be I'm not saying a huge project, but a pretty good sized project. We've got easements, we've got to research, we've just got a lot of work to do. Who's responsible? So I sent our attorney an email asking him I had a question and explained it all out the best I could, and this was the answer that he sent me back. If the property owner wants the installed right now or on his time frame, the property owner would need to pay for it. He said, I assume the city has a sewer CCN for the area in question, which we do. So we have a duty to provide, but that's to do the improvements as we're able to as a city. So basically on our time frame and if we have money. So he said, but we do not have to install it because the property owner is now ready and to develop an undeveloped piece of property. So I just wanted to clarify that because I didn't know.
So
I didn't
basically,
know
we're
where it stayed.
obligated to provide it, it's just as we have the money to do so,
Right.
which kind of,
So we're still in the very early stages of figuring out. Jerry went down there and looked at 9 ways from Sunday to try to figure out what the best route to get sewer to the lift station number 7. Our first priority, the first of the week, is going to be finding out easements coming off of Mr. Jeff's, his wife's property, because that's going to be a big determining factor on which way we've got to go. Mr. Jeff, would you like to address the council?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna be right over my property.
Are you behind him
I'm beside him, I own,
on the corner?
you know where I live,
Yes.
right across from there. I own that property there, all the way down Timberline and around the corner.
Okay, so she owns a lot that goes behind his property?
Yeah.
Yeah,
all the way
that's,
up to the fire hydrant.
it would be so easy if we could run across that property.
And that's something that Jeff and have you and Ms. Goodrum, have y'all talked at all? Have y'all discussed any of it at any point?
No.
Okay.
Just, and see, this is really actually the first I've heard of it, except
Well-
I had cautioned you before that this might be a problem.
And this is new to us too. He's come with us several months ago, and just with everything going on at the office, me and Jerry were just able to sit down pretty much last week. We got it on the agenda at the last minute, being able to try to figure this out. And it's not just a 10-minute, hey, go do this kind of thing. There's a lot of research that's gotta be done, so.
Do you think that you're gonna come in from like the north side of the property down to the lift station, or gonna try to come down the street line, or?
The idea would be, the best case scenario would be go right in the middle where it's running up towards the mayor's house. It runs it behind her house and behind North Timber Lane.
Okay.
Is to keep coming that way from his property where it was originally platted across y'all's property and then down North Timber Lane to 7. That's the most sensible, easiest, probably most direct way. I don't know, and I'm saying when I don't know, I haven't had a chance to go to the courthouse, do anything. I don't know back when these were done, if there was ever an easement there already.
I'm not aware of one.
And that's where we've got to come back to the drawing board, where we may need to sit down with y'all and the three of it, and I'm saying us as representing the city.
We also have, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but he's got like a bunch of dogs, and he lives over on Kathy. And, he said that he has property on the other side of North Timber Lane, but he's wanting to build over there too.
Yes. So the one option is, and Jerry actually walked this footage, coming from the backside of Mr. Jeff's, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name.
Sure.
Jeff, so the backside of Mr. Jeff's property, and then, Ms. Goodrum come down like where it originally was platted once again, and go straight across from his property straight to North Timber Lane that's grown up, and then just go to the line that's existing that's right over the creek on the other side. That's only about 300 feet.
It's 380 feet.
380 feet. So that would be another real simple solution to be able to get his sewer to the sewer line. So there are some options there, and I think that either y'all or y'all come to the office one day and let's sit down and at least try to see where we're going with this. If we're in a straight shot from that area over to, let's say, the sewer line that's across the creek on the north of the North Timber Lane, on Mr. Schubert's property, if you're talking about, our guys can do that. That's a straight shot.
Yeah, and I do know that Mr. Schubert is kind of trying for the same thing in there.
Yes.
He's wanting some house built
The
probably
good
there on that side
part
too.
with Mr. Schubert's is, and we didn't know this till this week, we're learning this system as well. There is a gravity feed line on his property that all we've got to do is put him a tap in. So he's got the property. He's got a gravity feed and a force main. We can just tap right into his gravity feed. We've been fighting for 4 months on Kathy and Wild Rose, the people that have the RV that's up there. We've been trying to find a sewer line for them to go to. We'll come to find out this week, Jerry found a map. There's a manhole on their property we didn't know about. Just us
We
learning
can
this
solve
stuff.
both these sewer issues with 2 taps.
Yes, so we've solved several of these issues by just finding a map and Jerry doing some research and doing great. But this is the most, I'm gonna say, biggest
Shortest
issue.
distance.
The biggest issue right now is getting sewer to his one place.
Place.
The other place where he's wanting to build a house, we'll go right across the road onto Mr. Schubert's property and we'll take care of that. He's not gonna have.
The one on, Delwood and
Right.
Timberland?
That one there can go, there's a sewer line just right across where the street should be that we can go to that one, so. This one property he's wanting to build first is our biggest, and I'm glad that you're here, so
Yeah.
you can hear it, but. We're here to decide, but at the same time, this is the first problem, we've gotta figure out where we're gonna run with it first. if this is something that you think that you and your husband and they can sit down, even if y'all wanna come up here and we all sit down together, set a time and let's see if we can't make this work, and that's probably the best thing. But it's totally up to y'all, cause y'all are property owners there, not us.
It's either 380 feet through an easement or 1,000 feet down and around. And
If there's an easement there.
no,
Well,
this in the ditch.
we can build the ditch line, but it's 1,000 feet. At some
Lift station.
places, it's gonna have to be, we figured about
20.
20 foot deep, so it's gonna require a contractor. So we're looking at a whole
Yeah,
bigger
it'd be-
issue there.
If we could get an easement, it would be, we could have 2 taps in one day if I got an easement.
I bet we can work that out.
So can we,
We're
Yeah,
gonna
table
table this
this
until we
until-
can come back with some other. Jeff, is that,
Okay.
thank you, Ms. Lydia, thank you.
yeah, let's table it, just that way we can put it back next month in case we need to address something.
I'll make a motion that we table 7-8 till further.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Moving on to 7-9, review, discussion, possible action to repeal ordinance 241C and approve ordinance 313.
241, the only change in this ordinance is the burn ban. Was under. Under burning.
Is that so that,
And this is just saying we don't have to bring it back to the council, that if the county puts a burn ban on, we're automatically. If they take it off, it's automatic.
right,
There is another change, I don't know if you caught it, and I don't know if you approved it. Significant increase in penalties if you break any of the rules. It's
That
huge.
he did change that, but he went up to what, state law says.
At the maximum?
Well, that is the maximum, that's not saying what they are.
Okay, but the old one said the maximum 2,000, but we charged 100 the first time, 200 the second time, and up to 2,000 the third time, third offense. The new one says we're gonna charge you 2,000 every time, no matter what.
And I believe that is because of the change in the law on the first, second, and third offenses. If you do a 2,000 now, it's actually up to the court, not your ordinance, of how much up to the 2,000 on each offense.
yes, it's not to
It
exceed
says not to
2,000.
It doesn't say it's gonna be 2,000,
Yeah.
it just says not to
The,
exceed.
the court can do $100 if they want to.
Right, right.
You know, it's not, it's just the wording in how the law has changed since that last ordinance was put in.
I felt it was a little aggressive.
I think it's just capping it.
And I asked him to review it and make sure the entire ordinance was legal. And that's what changed, and that's legality.
I make a motion to repeal ordinance 241C and replace it with ordinance 313.
A motion from Carrie and then, sorry, just a second. Second from Dawn, all in favor? Oh, what's Cindy, second from Cindy, sorry.
I think we both spoke at the same time.
All in favor? Okay. 4-0.
I
7-10,
don't think we'll ever have a.
review, discussion, and possible action on paying Bull and Lowry invoice from August 25th and May 28th of 2024 as an EDC expenditure.
Bull and Lowry, our previous attorney, one of these I missed in my EDC to pay folder that got put out of the way, but these are 2 invoices, and y'all can see what they're for, but they're EDC related invoices to pay. I have discussed them with Randy, so he knows what they're for and all that good stuff.
So, I took an issue with this invoice because I think it's excessive in that they're trying to charge us for their usage of the Westlaw software. So, for years and years, lawyers used whole bookshelves full of law books, and now they use an online service, and Westlaw is a great one. It's also one of the most expensive. But in my opinion, that's just a tool, like paper and pens, or their electric bill, or even their internet access. We shouldn't be surcharged. We're paying for their legal expertise. We shouldn't get a surcharge for that tool. they're basically taking their bill and splitting it amongst all their customers based on the number of hits. Now, I went to Westlaw's website to look at pricing, and I'm sure there's all sorts of different options, but looks like for their basic service, highest option, they have a bunch of different options, which would cover more states, $216 a month, and they're charging us almost $600 for 1 month's usage. I think it's excessive. My suggestion would be we pay the bill minus the Westlaw service charge and let them come back to us if they see that as a real issue.
My personal opinion, A, we voted on these attorneys, and B, it is a surcharge, but that's no different than if I choose to put premium gas in my car to go do something for somebody or unleaded. Whatever I choose to charge them, I still got to. I mean,
If you got a bill
what
from
I
a
used to get
lawyer
there.
and they billed you for their internet access, would you feel that that was ridiculous? This is the exact same thing. It's just a cost of doing, it's a tool. If you hire a carpenter, they bring a hammer with them. This is a tool.
They charge you to show up on site ready to go. So
Right. I think it's a ridiculous charge. I think they're just throwing it in there to get some more money out of us. I don't think it's reasonable. I make a motion, we pay the bill minus the Westlaw fees, let them come back to us if they have a real issue. And if anybody wants a copy of this, what their charges are, I printed it from the website.
a motion from Keith.
When you say let them come back to us, does that mean that, I mean, like,
They'll send us a
if
past
we
due
don't
invoice.
pay that, they're gonna send us a past due invoice plus additional costs?
Just say we don't agree with the fee. We say it's a, and we could even go back and check our contract and see if they can even charge absurd little random fees. Did we ever agree to pay for their law books?
Right.
So I have a question, is this the first time that they've split out their billing in such transparency that it's the first time you're seeing it?
It's the first time I've seen a bill since I've been on council that I really looked at.
And I asked, cause when she sent me, the secretary sent me the other day, I asked what the Westlaw was for, because I didn't know. And she said that the Westlaw charge was so high that she actually cut it down for us already. If you look at that one paper in there, it shows a substantial more amount. I don't know. This is the first time that it's not, I seen it one other time, it was $91, and I paid it. I shouldn't have, but not knowing what Westlaw was, that 91's been paid, and this is the rest of the invoice, so.
Think of it like Google for law books, and they charge
Right.
us for every word they typed in. They typed a query in, they charged us.
But we don't know that, it doesn't say that that's what it's based
Well,
on.
it says per query, yes, their invoice. I don't know if they use the word query, but
No. Kind of, they
So-
feel like they bill based on the items that they
right.
use. just
They're
like-
calling it transactions. If you look, and we did 19 transactions and 35 transactions, that just means they typed a query. And then they took their total, I assume that 3,000 is their.
And this was in regards to
That's how I read it.
records request. Well, that's the person that's causing it.
Right.
I don't think we should be billed that.
Do what we had to do with the open records request and stuff, so. And I do think we need to review the contract to see if the contract explicitly lines out that they charge per tool that they use, or if we knew that up front. We've already paid it one time before, precedent's been set.
And are these still your current company that you're continuing to do business with?
We have a motion from Keith. second, so no motion will die.
I make a motion that we pay this bill to Boyle and Lowry. We do need to look at the contract though.
This is our last bill.
It should be.
If you change lawyers, it wouldn't be a reason to put that effort in it.
Well, you know, and likewise, it wouldn't be reasonable to not pay them and then expect to have additional charges added for a delinquent payment, and we'll add it to the same, and then we're done with them, and that's why we left it. I just make a motion that we pay it.
Second from Cindy. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
No.
3-1, motion carries. Moving on to 7-11, review, discussion, and possible action on allowing Carrie McGinnis to attend the TML conference in October.
You let that one die, or have you changed your mind?
I want to withdraw that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move past that one. Moving on to 7-12, review, discussion, possible action to appeal ordinance 307 and approve ordinance 316, water and sewer rates to be effective October 1st.
The only thing in here that we have not discussed and that we need to go over is our tap fees. Look on the second page. Our water taps currently are 600, sewer tap 600. So now we went up to 1,000.
Is 600 our
No, that's
cost?
1,000.
Is
Sewer
it
tap's supposed to be 1,000, by the way.
Is it 600 parts or parts and labor?
Oh, okay, yeah.
600 is everything. You come in right now to pay a tap, and we're charging you 600.
I'm saying, what's it cost us?
What's it cost us? A few months ago, and I haven't checked it, I had Gatlin break down parts. We're looking at 500 and some change with the steadily increase of parts for our tap.
Sure.
So 600 was really not even coming out anything ahead with parts and labor. Now, 1,000 is high, but it's still way cheaper than anybody else around. There's some water companies charging 3,000, 4,000 for water taps.
4,600.
Yeah. So I understand 1,000, it's expensive.
Water tap.
That sewer tap should say 1,000, not 100 at the tap, I'll get that fixed. The 1-inch water tap and 2-inch water taps are more because them meters cost substantially more. But I can tell you right now, we've got probably 6 that have come, 6 or 7 that have come talk to us at some point in the future, near future, that are potentially going to be paid.
So I make a motion to repeal the ordinance 307 and approve ordinance 316, water and sewer rates to be effective October 1st.
Second that. Motion from Cindy, second from Don.
I have a quick discussion.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
No, it's
I didn't
okay,
realize
you can
were-
discuss, actually,
Okay.
you're supposed to discuss after the motion.
Okay.
But anyway. So what does this have as our new, because we had talked about a bunch of rates, what's the new rate?
It's $5 on water, $2.61 on sewer.
So we had talked about up to like 7 something.
761.
761.
That is where it's at, 761, but I put 5 on the water, 2 on the sewer.
Okay.
And the reason I did that was to help alleviate some of the overage, because of the sewer overage, we don't charge our consumers, our citizens that much. So to help out on some of the overage customers that go over 2,000 consistently, it's helping them a little bit on that percentage. Or not percentage, it's a set rate, but it's helping them a little bit on that.
So how much should the waters be now?
It will be,
Generally speaking.
The base. Talking about the
Yeah,
base.
base.
I had it right in my,
So, and feel free to continue looking. What I would like to see us do is So it was discussed to raise all the rates based on how much money we had at the end of the year, this past year, and how much we think we're gonna need more. I would like to see us use ARPA funds where possible to do enhancements and repairs and all that to the water sewer system and setup in a way that we can reduce our costs out of that part of the budget and then not raise our rates.
But in that same discussion, we also said the water district handed us down a water rate. We are already running at a deficit based off the numbers from last year. And if we need a lot of infrastructure improvements. We need to have that money there for the things like the aerator. We need to look at the other priorities that are out there. But if we don't do this water rate increase now, and then next year we get handed another water rate increase, then we have to apply both water rate increases to the end user at one time, and that's gonna be a harder hit than the $760 that it is right now.
This is almost doubling the per thousand, and it's very aggressive billing, and I just don't agree. I just don't think that we need to do this big of a money grab. I think it's outside of the scope of reality.
I don't see it as a money grab. The math is math. You can't change the numbers. We are behind in what the water is. You heard me try to get the water district to explain in dollars to us in the trickle-down effect, how it would begin to impact us as citizens in meetings prior to this. We knew this was coming. We knew it was gonna be hard, but we can't run in a deficit, because what'll happen is what happened last time when they increased the rates. The hit was so hard, it was astronomical to people. So in increments, the rates are gonna go up. The math is what it is. It's not a money grab. It's not anybody trying to make money where we should not be making money. That's not the drive behind it. It's that we have to be able to cover our bills.
But I proposed a solution for that. And also, when they raise a little bit, we raise a lot. We're always raising more than they increase our costs.
Well, we had a lot of adjustment last time because the water rate increases had not been implemented. So we made up for that. And then now, we would be doing the same thing in 2 years, rather than just when we get an increase, we have to pass that on to the end users. We're not trying to make money off of that. And if we use the ARPA money to cover the additional expenses right now, that money's eventually gonna go away, and then they're still gonna get charged that in the end, and then their infrastructure's not gonna be any better because we've already.
The water district's already said that they're looking at more raises anytime in the next couple of few years.
But we can't hold that because you can't control inflation, you can't control these
That's
things.
not entirely true either, because he said that the charge for them to clean and make our water
It's still
was
costing them.
6 something. I mean, we were in the meeting, it was at 6 something, and we're only being charged 2 something. The charge on him is that he has to make up the deficit. We still get our water from them. That's where we get our water from. There's no change in it. And so it's going to continue to go up.
Because they lost the power plants, they
That's
lost all
right,
these
and they've
things.
got infrastructure.
And they're
that they
having to
have
make up for
fix.
their deficit, just like
That's
we're
right.
having to make up for our deficit.
That's
But
right.
you can't just write hot checks to the water company because they never get met.
I'm really good at math, and this is too much.
Okay, so what's the amount?
So your base,
8111,
Huh?
8111.
Alright.
so
You're
your
right
base
in there,
water bill
very
goes up about
close.
$7 per month, $7.60.
Like 74, 73.
We have people that just can't afford this.
No, I agree.
I agree. Everything's gone up. It's unfortunate. Your electricity, your chemicals went up, your car insurances went up, everything's went up. And
There are solutions we can do, but nobody has the will to do it, and our citizens are being harmed in the process.
Well,
You
and,
got voted in to do something, work on it.
I'm trying.
yeah, and you know, the
That's
option
exactly
is
what
to
I'm
cut
doing now.
bodies, cut the police department. We don't agree with that. That's not an option.
What was that? I'm
Propose to
sorry.
cut a waterworks person. That's not an option either. As it is, we barely have a waterworks department. So just cutting physical bodies to cut out people is not an option I feel that I can have a legitimate debate about and feel good about that at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't wanna increase and be a part of an increase, but it's an increase that's happened.
We don't even know how much additional income this change is gonna make.
Then the base you're at.
other than the base. And if we have an influx and we're sitting at more money, I'd be glad to drop it in a year, but right now, we started out with a $50,000 deficit from last year. We have a,
Because it had been years.
we have a motion from Cindy and a second from who, I'm sorry?
Carrie.
Carrie? All in favor? All against?
Yes.
Motion carries. Review, discussion, possible action on the holiday calendar for 24-25 fiscal year.
Same as last year, no changes.
I made the argument last year that looking at the, I believe it was Department of Labor and statistics, the average full-time employee in the US gets 7.8 paid holidays per year, full-time employees, and we're giving 14. I think it's too much. If our citizens don't get those days and they're paying the salaries, I don't think we should be giving that many days. I would cut the days down to 10, which is what it was for years and years.
No.
Which is still more than the national average by 25%.
So the city of Dangerfield does 16 days, Morris County gets 15, we're at 14. It's basically following the bankers'
Right.
holidays, the
I
federal
don't
holidays.
answer to their citizens, I answer to mine.
I was explaining to them, not you.
Okay.
So, right now they have Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, 2 days at Christmas, 2 days at Thanksgiving, 2 days at Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King's, President's Day, Good Friday, Memorial, Juneteenth, Independence, and Labor Day. These are federal holidays.
2 days of Thanksgiving, I never heard that. With the Friday? Is it the Friday?
Thursday, Friday,
Friday.
yeah.
Typically, companies will let you take that off using personal time, but not as a built-in vacation or a paid holiday.
Most companies.
This doesn't go against their vacation, this is just a paid holiday.
Every government entity around gets Thursday and Friday.
Well, not Thursday, you don't. Let me tell you. Thursday, you don't get none of that.
You're right.
You double time because you're
Not
there.
in
Wow, I don't know.
I think we should reduce it to 10 days.
So which day would you eliminate?
And that doesn't matter to me. I mean, we can come up with the 10, but it doesn't matter to me. I just think 10 was what the city used for years and years.
It's more like that when I work,
President's Day, June.
regular,
Where'd I get? I've been doing the same job for 25 years.
It's the newer of all.
We don't make a lot. Zero paid holidays for over 20 years.
They're just going with the banking. I can't judge.
We
them
went
by
up
anything. I
last
work
year
with
to
them.
the county in Dangerfield to meet what they do locally. What does North City have, give? Anybody know?
We get close to what you're approving tonight.
I tried.
When you take in account for the federal holidays anyway, because if you do business on federal holidays and have nowhere for your money to go,
No bank, no, yeah.
you can't operate.
And all of these are federal holidays.
Except
I mean,
for
they call
Friday
it
after Thanksgiving.
Indigenous Day now, right?
Yeah, they're all
Or call it
Right, when I was looking at the
Fourth of
federal, I was looking today, but I just really ran out of time. I was trying to print everything.
The only one I don't think is.
I think they're all.
Is not a
Juneteenth is
federal
a federal.
holiday.
It is federal. It is. The
federal.
only one on here that I don't think
Yeah.
is the day after Thanksgiving.
That's what I would agree.
Oh, yeah, we always
would
have
agree
to
with
take
that.
our personal days for that.
So if we're, I mean, it is what it is if we're just gonna follow the federal, a skeleton, you know?
Have to.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could see where I could cut, in my opinion, but like I said, I would, my part.
How many a week ago is it 14? So if he said 10, so why don't we just cut 2? When we meet in the middle?
Okay.
So it doesn't, who's gonna figure out what days we're gonna cut?
Here, what do we got going?
And how are you gonna determine who gets to take the days off and who don't, so that the city still stays open?
Yes, sir.
If you're gonna cut 2, why don't you just do 4th of July, cause that's, you celebrate 4th of July at night, and the day after Thanksgiving. We done
Yours, that's
No, you gotta spend 4th of July on like.
with it. I'm just saying,
It's
you can't cut
Independence
down the other
Day.
ones.
Come on.
You can't
September,
cut,
October, November, December, we have all
you
those.
can't cut,
holidays.
you know.
What
So
about
what if we
Columbus
do it
Day?
Columbus Day.
And this was the argument last year was, well, which do you cut? And it's like, oh, well, then just get them all.
Well, no, let's
And I-
just look at the time frame. We're all kind of bundled up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the post office.
There are 12 federal holidays. They get New Year's Day, Martin Luther King's birthday, which
That's
is,
here.
Washington's birthday,
Oh, is that
Memorial Day, yes.
Okay,
Juneteenth,
okay.
Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day. I ran out of what else, hold on.
Veterans.
Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day.
So it's the
So
day after
Christmas Eve.
Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve is the ones that are not.
Those are the
That's
12 recognized federal holidays.
Okay, well, that takes us to 12. I feel good about that. Christmas Eve and Friday after Thanksgiving. That way I'm not making anything matter.
See, those are the two that I would leave on there.
fine.
Not necessarily the day after
I'm,
Thanksgiving.
look,
but the
Dangerfield's at 16,
Christmas
Morris
Eve.
County's at 15. I mean,
And we're
A person can still take a personal day or a vacation day if there's a particular day that's important to them.
So how many employees does this impact in our city?
Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 3 in the front, 3 in the back.
No, the officers.
No.
No, I'm referring to Public Works. I
Oh,
say
okay.
back, my,
Three.
back building.
Your two part-timers, your part-timers don't,
do what?
said your part-timers, it don't affect. It only affects a full-time. PD still works.
Well, then we stay at 14. That's a puzzle I can't figure out. I make a motion, we stay at 14.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. All right, we will now enter into, 7:02, we will now enter into executive session. All right, it is 7:50, we're gonna reconvene out of, executive session, no decisions were made in executive session. We will now move on to 8:1, review discussion and possible action on a full-time police officer.
So after reading the application that we have before us and, everything, I would like to make a motion that we offer Mr. Jerry Goodson a full-time, position as a police officer here in Lone Star at, what's it?
17.
At $17 an hour
With,
with a 90-day probationary period.
Have a motion from Dawn,
I second.
second from Carrie. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? 2-1, motion carries. Moving on to 8:2, review discussion and possible action on hiring a part-time office assistant / court clerk.
I know you're not gonna come. Dawn's getting better, so she's.
That was my first time,
That's her
Dawn.
first motion, so.
What's on that?
I was the first?
You were my first.
How's that make you feel?
She had the nerves.
Special.
She had the nerves. First nerves.
Let's see how you feel in 90 days.
Okay, so,
You want me to do it? I can do it. I'm prepared.
look
Is
at you.
this your
I got
first time
this.
too?
No, I'm just, no.
Okay, so, after, interviewing our applicants, I make a motion that we offer Misty Stutzman as a part-time office assistant court clerk at 30 hours a week at $15 an hour with a 90-day probationary period.
I second that.
Motion from Dawn, second from Carrie. All in favor? Oh, yeah, well, okay, sorry. 3-0. 8-3, review discussion possible action on hiring a municipal judge.
You're knocking it out of the park for a while.
Wow, okay. So, after speaking with, Judge Potter, we would like to offer him a, position as our municipal judge, at a rate of $1,000 a month. We're not gonna offer you a 90-day probationary period, sir.
Motion from Dawn,
I second.
second from Carrie. All in favor? 3-0, motion carries.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.